Baby girl, there's no really getting here. Let me see you get down for me. See my baby, when I love you, don't be nice. And I'm loving the way you dancing to the song. Oh yeah, baby, move your body to the song. Now, Guru, color that me nice. Oh, I know when I want you, I'm going back to what I'm telling. This color of a mengala. We busy getting down, no one of another jamela. Oh, I know when I want you, I'm going back to what I'm telling. This color of a mengala. We busy getting down, no one of another jamela. Get on that way, they down the bottom of the river. No, no, no. Come on, get down. No time to function, function. No time for paparazzi. No time to function, function. No time for paparazzi. See my baby, when I love you, no be nice. And I'm loving where you dancing to the sound. Yeah, baby, move your body to the sound. Now, Guru, Kalawa Jasmine, that's all.
Bookings and info, contact DJ Starzy on 075 832 54947. Also, follow him on Twitter at DJ Starzy, on Instagram at DJ Starzy, and for more mixes, go to www.soundcloud.com/DJ-Starzy.
Up to the town, and for no Sabbath, I'm rocking the original Nigerian Don Gargan, riding through man, I that I've been out without a curfew. Alongside the one that can't come still is sure. This a robbery, the whole of them for no. Sounding is full now. Time to get them goals and kick your door down. Niggas ain't running anymore now. Bang, bang, everybody kiss the floor now. It's a all eyes on me. I see nobody. Think I'm up now. Freeze and I see the show. It's a robbery, robbery, robbery. Women looking for pretty, come me did it and I take a women like a guinea long down. Maka guinea or ya fall down. As an akang baka biggie she could calm down. My polo, I be boss like Marco Polo. Be like say she no tell her one or two, so she follow. Put them on the cruise, with nothing to lose. On the lolo, tell her me she move, then I'm sipping juice on the solo. I want it all up, my boy from Bogota. Give me daddy, wine for me, show me your waist. We are making come and waste my hand. Wine for me, show me your waist. We are making come and waste my hand. Young girl, come on, what you want, you little much. Why you want me? She will have the chain, she will have the chain. Like swing man, this cushion bed. Pretty girl, looking cute as a bit. Be like, mommy, what's up, Brazilian hair? And I may have been if I know suit in your ear. She said, what do you want? Is it a married money or a woman that can love me for me? That's all or nothing in short. I like to beat it if you give a drummer something but jump because I'm peaceful.
The Book of John, chapter 14. UK. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Lord, for giving
Thank you,
us
Lord.
the comforter to abide with us forever.
Abide with
He gives everlasting peace, saves us from the hands of the adversary.
Oh yeah. A helper, confidence, a helper in time of trouble.
Celebrate the comforter.
We gotta celebrate.
Celebrate the comforter.
We gotta celebrate.
Celebrate the comforter.
Celebrate.
Celebrate the comforter.
Everybody come rejoicing,
We celebrate.
dancing,
We celebrate.
celebrate.
We celebrate the comforter.
Everybody come rejoicing
We celebrate.
and dancing,
We celebrate.
celebrate.
Celebrate the comforter.
Oh yeah. Celebrate.
8, 7,
Celebrate.
6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, welcome again to Niger Voices, live from the finest African Afro-Caribbean radio station in London. And tonight, we're going to be looking at quite a lot of things tonight. But as usual, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, coming straight to you on Starr Radio UK, your African.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Yes, it
Online,
is.
on mobile, soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean radio station.
Well, that's it. Every Wednesday, we're live here from the studio where we give you what is happening within the Nigerian community and also what is happening back home. As we know, a country with about 180 million, I'm sure we might have been more than that now. Quite a lot to discuss, when it comes to Nigeria. A lot of people will ask a lot of questions and so many things. But as you know, Starr Radio UK, we were on ground, during the election, that just took place. And what we are doing, for the next couple of weeks is we're looking at some of the aftermath of the election. What are the lessons that we can learn? What are the things that we can prepare so that in 2023, no one wakes up at middle of the night and the election is being postponed. Nobody wakes up and say, why has INEC not been able to deliver, my INEC material on time? And so much of, some of these things that a lot of time people wonder, are we really running a country or what has been happening? So we'll be looking at all that at about 1900 hours. I will have my guest that will join me by telephone right here from London, and that is Esther Oyewole. She is the president of the London School of Economics Nigerian Society, and they'll be telling us some of what they have in plan. There's an event coming up. What next? As we know, is a lot of time people ask so many questions, but we don't get the result. So we hope Esther Oyewole will be able to tell us what is coming up on Saturday, the 13th of April, and some of the lineup of the guests that will be there. Also, Feladro Toye will be in London as well. So we hope we can get as much of what our Nigerian community, especially the diaspora. We've got to remember this election, that was just concluded. Nigerians from around the world, whether you support the PDP, the APC, the AFGAP, the ANP, the Feladro Toye, the NIP. I will tell you a little bit more about Eunice Atujide. She'll be with me next week. Yes, right here in the studio. I'm sure a lot of you remember her, and we'll be looking at a book and what is the experience of a female politician. We all know, the Prime Minister here in UK, she's a female, a lot of pressure with the BRICS exit. How does she cope, being a female politician and also a mother, a wife, and also, still a working, serving the community. We spoke at length yesterday, and we will have her next week here in the studio. When she will be giving us some of those. How our experience have been, for that 2019 election. Also, next week, Wednesday, a very fully packed house. You don't want to miss next week. We're going to be having a security expert and consultant, TGS, Mr. Femi Aroto Kunale. He's been here before in the studio with us. He's not, a guest that we don't know. But when it comes to security of every country, we need the people that understand and that can also tell us what the government should be doing and what not the government should not be doing. As a lot of you would know, Zamfara State, oh Lord of mercy, have been in all kind of crises. We don't know what is happening. A country that have, so much, but yet, citizens are being killed. I'm sure a lot of you saw there have been, high-profile protests, around, not just in Nigeria. There was one in London as well, where some Nigerians did a solidarity walk from Trafalgar Square to the embassy, just to, say what is happening in Zamfara State. We can't, just continue to have it as the way it is. Just before we go ahead, with the show tonight, let us give our greetings to every one of you that have logged in. But if you've logged in, what you can do, you can share the page. If you're listening to us on Facebook, you can invite your friends. You can download our apps. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. It's all Starr Radio UK. And if you have any question or you have something that you would like to discuss right here in the studio, info@Starr Radio UK. Always remember, you can send us all the email. Our Twitter handle also is Starr Radio UK. And if you'd like to join the show later on, you can also call +4475 940 979, and that is the WhatsApp line. You can also call 0208 133 2257 or 0208 133 2258. Quite a lot of events also coming up in 2019. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be giving you the lowdown of all the event that is taking place. In the next few minutes, we're also going to be in touch with Prince Adedapo Araromi, that will be telling us what is coming up on Friday, the 12th of April, Generation Z versus Parent, knife and gun crime crisis. That is one thing that a lot of people are worried about. But before we go further, let us just say thank you to ERRAS. And that is where you need to take whenever there is a problem.
Doctor, social worker or healthcare professional, are you currently having capability or disciplinary issues at work? Have you recently been referred to the NMC, ACPC, GMC, any other regulatory bodies? Do you need confidential expert advice on work issues and professionalism? Do you need representation for your NMC, GMC, ACPC, intern, or substantive hearing? If your answer is yes, please contact Dr. Abe Akinyoshu of ERRAS, Employment Rights Representation and Advisory Service on 0208 305 7438 or 0207 140 0111 0745 195 6510. Our team of experts are ready to assist you in all aspects of your professionalism, disciplinary proceedings.
Yes, and that is Dr. Abe Akinyoshu. For every one of you working in the healthcare sector and you need that, support, no matter how small it is, the only place to, to find a lasting solution is to make sure that, you reach out to Dr. Abe Akinyoshu, where they will be able to tell you more. But there's also a music that I love to listen to. And let's just listen to a little bit of it, before we make the call to find out what is happening on Friday, the 12th of April, right at the London's Mayor's office in City Hall, a very special building, just like what we saw in Tottenham yesterday, and I'm sure, the fans of Man City will only hope that, the rematch being played next week or whenever that would happen, we go their way. But Tottenham won yesterday. Also on the 12th of April, the ambassador George Adeshola Oguntade, CFRCON, the Nigerian High Commission in London, will also be attending that event, and it's all about the knife and gun crisis. So just stay tuned. Niger Voices, and this is where it's happening. Again, I'm OLAYOMI KOIKI.
I beg we the beg, see my people don't they die. Please pity for us, politicians, please pity for us. Oh no 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 no.
Online, on mobile, CNDAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean
you play
radio
to Nigeria,
station.
your country. Niger, did you see Anthony Joshua making Eba? Really?
I invest in my Niger.
How many of you can make Amala?
Show some love.
Politicians, you must show some love. There's quite a lot of people that are depressed, hungry, upset about the situation back in Nigeria. All that we'll be discussing at about 1900 hours. But for time being, let us listen to Timaya, politician PTO.
Please pity for us. Oh no 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 no.
This is Starr Radio UK. Online, on mobile, CNDAB. This is Starr Radio.
As we sit down, they complain today. Our God ready for our body.
We complain all the time, but what are the solutions we are doing to it? We know there's been a lot of issues when it comes to security in the country. Zamfara State, Kaduna State. What is the government doing about it?
They try. I don't say every day politicians steal our money.
Why do they like stealing money? What is the purpose of stealing all this money and you keep it away and the people in abject poverty?
Politicians just they smile. Oh, people they die. Their children they overseas.
Most of their children right here in United Kingdom, in America, in Canada, while people on the other side are suffering.
We don't need die. Anything we do, please pity for us. Oh, politicians have mercy on us. Oh no 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 no. Hey, it's painful. Oh.
It is painful. It is very painful when you see the situation on ground. What I saw at home, it is very painful. Yes, and it is Niger Voices live here from the finest Afro.
Online, on mobile, Suwon DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean radio station.
Yes, sir. If you're thinking where to be every Wednesday from 1800 hours to just about 2000 hours every Wednesday, and make sure you tune in. We have a quite lineup for you in the next couple of days to come. Make sure you just stay tuned to this platform, and we will tell you some of what is coming up next week. Like I said, is a very fully packed house, and you don't want to miss that at all. So make sure you stay tuned. Like I said, in the next few minutes or so, we will put a call through to the organizer of this knife and gun crime that has now become a kind of epidemic right here in London. A lot of parents are worried. A lot of people are concerned over the situation that seems not going anywhere. What is the government doing about it? What is the individual? What are they doing as well? To make sure that we can at least stop this gun and knife crime taking place within the community as well. But all this we will find out what the event coming up next week, Friday, this coming Friday rather, on the 12th of April, right at the London City Mayor's office. I haven't been there for a while, so we're going to see how, that is going to happen this coming Friday, and we have one individual that will take us through what we're expecting. So many times we've done, a lot of events. I remember last year, Chemi Climax had an event. Numbers of events took place last year when it comes to gun and knife crime. But what more can we do, to make sure that the youths that are moving around, and ready to harm, they are ready to harm, individual. They're ready to harm, anyone that comes, across their way, with this sharp weapon. And you just wonder, this afternoon at about 1600 hours, while I was making my way to the studio, there's been another stabbing in E16. It doesn't matter the postcode, the area. It's not, seems every part of London, there's so much danger. And we also need to remember that as much as there's numbers of people that are committing crime, we also have, good amount of youth that are doing extremely well, making us proud in every, home. But one thing is, we can't, say that there have not been, the bad eggs among them as well. So we hope, we will be able to, find a lasting solution, to this problem, where this particular gun and knife crime has become an issue. On the 24th of April as well, there's another very important guest that will be in the studio with us, and we will be giving you more details of that as well. What is your take when it comes to gun and knife crime? What is something that you would love to see? What would be something different approach that we can put into some of these issues around the gun and knife crime? We're talking about security concerns like Nigeria, but our security concern has always been, some individual moving around with this dangerous weapon and ready, to make use of it, at any slightest opportunity. And let us now see if we can get through to our guest that will be joining us right here in the studio. Once again, this is Naija Voices, coming straight to you on Starr Radio UK, your finest African Afro-Caribbean radio station. Hello, good evening. Okay, let's see what we can get through. Since we have, let me see if I can get through to my guest there, if we can get him. Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Okay, 1 minute. We can't hear you live in the studio, so just give us about a few minutes. Let's see why we can get you in the studio. Once again, this is Naija Voices, coming straight to you on Starr Radio UK, your leading Afro-Caribbean radio station. Okay, what are those? I'll tell my guest if you can take this number down and call us straight into the studio line. And that number to call will be 0208 133 2257. And that way, I'm sure we can get him straight into the studio line and we can be able to get more information about this event coming up on Friday the 12th. The number again is 0208 133 2257. So if you can just call that number now, and then we can be able to take you through that interview. Once again, if you've just joined us, this is where it's all happening. This is the show that takes you, not just in London, we take you around the world. We tell you what is happening right, close to your own community right here in London. And also, if you like to patronize or put an advert on the platform, you can call into the studio line, and I'm sure we will be able to, give you a better package than anywhere else. It is Starr Radio UK, your African Afro-Caribbean radio station in London. And tonight, it's all about Naija Voices. Let's, see, well, okay, let's get that call coming through first, and we can continue, with the show. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, and welcome to Naija Voices, where we bring what is happening within the Nigerian community and also what is happening around us as well. If you'd like to, first introduce yourself as well, tell us what part of London you're calling from.
Good evening to you. Thank you, KOIKI, for giving me the opportunity, and of course, the radio station too as well. My name is Prince Adedapo Araromi. I'm calling from City Hall, London. Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us at a very busy Wednesday evening. I know a lot of people are going home, and if you're going home, you're listening to us, just turn the volume on a little bit because what we are discussing now matters not just to you, to myself, matters to the next person that might be of a danger to any of us or our children that are out there. And it is very important that we find out the conversation that will take place now. What we have at the moment is there is an event coming up on the 12th of April, like we said earlier, right here in London. And now Prince Dapo Araromi, right here in London, will take us through. Firstly, what is coming up on Friday, the 12th of April?
Thank you so much. To answer your question, what's coming up on the Friday? It's the 12th by 6 p.m. is what we actually carefully tagged Generation Z versus the parents in knife and gun crime crisis. And this is actually happening at the City Hall, the Mayor's office, just by London Bridge, Tower Bridge. And of course, the essence of this, and just like the title of it, Generation Z versus the parents in knife and gun crime. We're trying to have like a seminar set of thing where there will be panel to kind of soft land in terms of what is the problem. Already we know there's a problem in terms of gun and knife crime on the average. I think there's no week that comes by you don't hear on the news that somebody has been knifed or gunned down. So we're trying to be more practical about this. So JBES's solicitors, in conjunction with KANU, Central Association of Nigerians in the UK, and obviously we collaborate, just a little help collaborate with this, because this is one of our cardinal areas that we focus on, because about 5 years ago we came up with Say No to Youth and Gun Knife Crime. We had a handband that we've been distributing ever since then. So it's part of what we clamor about, we talk about in terms of saving our youth. So the whole idea for that day is, for as many youths, we have about less than 20 spaces is going so fast, because the room we're given at the City Hall can only seat about 120, and we're almost fully registered. So you can still have, if you're a youth out there, unregistered, we have just 20 spaces left, and it's free. And the whole idea is to come around, including the parents, to talk about why the reason of why people are gunning and knifing themselves, what's the solution to this, and how can we get the government involved. So that's why we're doing it at the seat of power, which is the City Hall. So it's not only concentrated in Southeast or a certain ethnicity group or whatever. It affects everyone. So why are we doing it? Is because a lot of people are doing. The government is concerned. It could be your own child tomorrow. It could be your own son or daughter. So that's why we're doing this. Yes. Okay.
A lot of people, and thank you very much once again for your time this evening. Generation Z versus parent. A lot of events have been held in the past, in regard to knife and gun crime. Just recently, I think about last week, the Prime Minister also hosted a delegation that will be looking into the Premier League and other, sport to see how they can support. What will be different, with this event coming up, knowing that, we've had, similar or close to event of such happening before. What would be different from this type of event?
Thank you. What would be different, as your question? The difference, like I said, is I think where we have got it wrong in the past is when we're talking about youth events, gun and knife crime event seminars, a few that I've been to, you find out that the youths that we're talking about that are meant to actually say things about the reason why they get into it, the reason why they think their friends are getting into this, into gangs and all of that, they're not present. They're busy on the street. They're not present. So the difference, one of the reasons why we have decided to set this up, J. Benson solicitors who are experts in family law and child proceedings and all that, they're experts and they're based in North London, Kilburn High Road, and of course Central Association of Nigerians, because she's the partner, the Julia Benson herself is a legal, she's the current legal officer of Kanuk, and in collaboration with Kanuk and just a little help. The big difference here is we're actually trying to engage the youths. We're trying to say, out of I think 100 that we've registered so far, I think about maybe 60 or 70% are youths. So we actually want to hear from the youths themselves.
Okay. Well, it's good to to know what the community is doing, and then for those that are not aware with some of the names like Kanuk, which stand for Central Association of Nigeria UK, headed by Dr. Boma Douglas. We hope we will have him in the studio with us very soon. Gun and knife crime, as a lot of us have seen it, you only need to look at the dailies every day, and something like I said, one took place at exactly 1600 hours today. What we would like to find out now is is the mayor going to be present, or what are those? I mean, I know you've said the ambassador will also be on seat for this event. What are other panelists that will be attending this event on Friday?
Thank you. So we do appreciate it. But in fact, I was just about to explain the whole setup that is. So we're going to have two panels, right? We're going to have a parent. So I Commission is actually not going to be part of the panel. Funny enough, he's just going to be a special guest. Now, as part of the panels, we're having experts. So we're having parents, someone that's been a victim as a parent. We have an expert from the police. We're having an expert as a parent, just as a parent. So we're having a 6-man panel, three women and 3 men representing the panel for the parents. And we're having a panel for the youth as well, 6 of them. So it's 2 different panels. And apart from that, the other setting is we're going to have like a round table discussion within the floor, whereby they have a discussion regarding whatever they're going to talk about. Then before we now set it as a panel. So the panel is 2 parts. We're having a youth panel and we're having the parent panel, comprising of experts. We're having just ordinary parents. We're having an expert from the police. We're having an expert from the legal profession. And we have 3 men, 3 women, and of course, from the youth angle too, we're having experts, just youths telling us how they feel and how they expect the parents to relate or respond to them as well.
Wow. Let us also, look at the issue, regarding the this knife crime. I know just a little. You've done quite a lot, engaging, some of these youth and also working very closely.
Sorry, I can't hear you. What did you say? Sorry.
I said, let us take a look at, what are the, from some of the engagement that you have been in the process of working around the youths, with this knife crime taking place in London. What could be the main reason that you've been able to maybe foresee, or you saw, or the engagement with some of the youth? What is the, what are the reason behind it? What are the main reason behind someone moving around, with a weapon and ready to use it as well?
Well, thank you for that question. Personally, to be candid, because I've not been... Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Personally, if you want me to give you a textbook answer, I will. But practically, I've not had any experience or anyone close to me that's have an ugly experience. But generally, I think it's just the frustration from the teenagers. I think it's just frustration from family setting. It's frustration from them not achieving what they intend to achieve. Frustration from mixed culture. And when I say mixed culture, somebody, for instance, from an African background, and he gets here, and it's a different culture from Africa, and gets here, it's a different culture as well. There's some things that the society or the culture here supports, whereas back home, it's a taboo. So there's a mix and match in his head. Or there's not, at least so far so good, not had any girl or woman, God forbid, doing that. So let me just say boys or a teenager guy. And he's just thinking that it's free to do it. And the few that has been there, that they've done it, they've turned around after they've done it to say that they did not know that they were what they were committing. So they don't know the implications of what they're doing. And if I compare it to when I was growing up back home in Africa, it's not even, you don't even think about such things like that to want to even. And there are other types. So I've had to ask a few questions amongst the teenagers because there's a whole of these things coming out these days and springing out. A lot of youths are just carrying knives to protect, more protection rather than more defending themselves, just in case it does happen. But you can't carry knives to defend yourself. You can't. It's dangerous on its own. It's a weapon. From the
government perspective, I mean, like I said last week Wednesday, there was demonstrator, engaging with part of some in the groups of people looking at other areas. What would you say that the government should do more, to kind of see how to engage with NGOs, engage with the community that are working tirelessly, whether we know them or we don't see them, but we know there are so much, individuals that are working tirelessly behind the scene. What would your suggestion be for the government to do more?
I think the government is trying. And the reason why I say they're trying, I mean, at the moment, I'm at the venue at City Hall. There's an event going on, and it's targeted towards youth tonight. Of course, it's a Christian event, and it's a youth event, and it's happening at the big hall at City Hall, the mayor's office. Now, I think they're trying to bring out a lot of programs, but the question is, are they doing enough adverts for people to know? So, for instance, this kind of event, a hall of capacity of over, I'm sure, over 2,000-3,000, and it's not filled. It's not filled. It's not. Maybe they hardly have maybe 400 or 300, which is big. But this kind of event should fill the hall to capacity if there's enough advertisement about it, because the government has actually budgeted thousands of pounds to fight, or for anyone that's got an idea of how to fight it and all that. But the key thing is, are they going to the real places, the ethnic minorities? These things are really happening. Are they really blasting it out? And I should say this, for instance, if they are, I need to digress a little bit, but to just bring in my point home. If they wanted to, for instance, do an immigration sweep now, they might get a van out, yeah?
Okay.
Put a billboard out to say, yes, immigration XYZ, yeah? Now, if this knife and gun crime is a similar thing, bring out a van, put all the billboards, and say, yeah, this is an event coming up, youth, blah, 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 blah. Don't you think people will be interested? Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So they are trying, however, I think they should still try more.
Okay.
And they should encourage organizations that are willing to do something about it, exactly, to support them,
Wow.
to give them the necessary support so that it will be a lot easier, because the government can actually reach where these things are happening. They can't reach the common Joe Block on the streets. But these organizations are the Central Association of Nigerians in UK, ably chaired by Dr. Boma Douglas, or this J. Benson solicitors, that they've lifted their comfort and they're trying to make this happen, not sponsored by anyone, and just a little help. So all these things, and including yourself too as well, this is what you're doing. You're doing it within your time to make sure that this is out there, someone listening. If the government can pick up on all of these organizations to say, listen, how can we be of help? What can we do more so that these programs we're doing wanted to do more, because you can't do everything. And I think they'll be able to achieve a lot.
Wow. Just before we let you go, let us listen to this, and then we will come back to you. Just stay tuned there. Once again, this is Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK, your African Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Legal Awareness Day, featuring Generation Z versus parents in knife and gun crime. Friday, 12th of April, 6 till 8:30 p.m. Venue, City Hall, London, SE1 2AA. To be attended by inspiring panelists. Please contact us to be a part of this. This event is powered by J. Benson Solicitors in conjunction with Central Associations of Nigerians in the UK.
Well, right still with us on the phone before we let him go is Prince Adedapo Araromi. He's been in the studio with us, and I'm sure we will be having him very soon again with us right here in the Starr Radio. We have quite a lot of guests that we are so excited to always make sure that we bring them back here, for other related topics and other issues pertaining to the community, because the reason why we're here is because of you, the community that are back in United Kingdom, and those of you in Nigeria as well. Just before we let you go, what will be, your final word, and then, we can continue, to talk about this on Friday later on.
Thank you, Yemiko. First of all, I'd like to say I do appreciate you, all the hard work you're doing for the community. Thank you for that, for bringing this to bear. This is one of the things that we should be talking about. Because this is our future. That's one. So thank you for our radio, for the opportunity yet again. I'd say on behalf of J. Benson Solicitors and Central Association of Nigerians in the UK, and just a lot of help, because I'm just part of the committee. I'm just a spokesperson for the committee that was set up. I'll say that for everyone listening to me out there, this is just yet another opportunity. It's not the same type of seminar. This is a unique one. If a youth out there, please, you can still register on Eventbrite. Just Google legal awareness or Generation Z versus parents, and it's happening on Friday. If you've got a concern, if you've got questions, there are legal representatives that are there to listen to you, and they are volunteering too as well. They are mentors. If you think that everybody needs a mentor, so there's one structure. There's something for you, for youth out there, and if you're a parent too. So it's not only targeted towards the youth. If you're a parent and you think that you want something to be said, you want your voice to be heard, or even if you're an organization that you've established anything regarding youth and knife crime, or you're doing something around it, please come around. Let's have a roundtable conversation all together so we can make our lives a better place in the UK. That's one. We can save and secure the future of these youths that are killing themselves like chicken every second, every minute in the UK, so we can have a peace of mind as parents, and we can at least be rest assured that that precedent that the next boy is going to kill will not be killed and turn out to be a president in the future, or that governor, or that person that is going to get married to your daughter or to your son. So my last word is, please, you still have about 20 stations left. Go there if you're youth, and it's just around London Bridge. If for most of you that don't know the City Hall, it's less than 5 minutes from London Bridge Station. It's the closest station. Go and register. It has a maximum of 120 spaces that can be taken. We want more youth to be represented so that your voices can be heard. Thank you once more. I do appreciate you for having me on your radio program.
Wow. You're more than welcome. And, you know, when it comes to anything that is got to do with our youth and our community, be rest assured that Star Radio UK will definitely be right there. And we will be seeing you on Friday for the program as well. Thank you very much for your time this evening. And we'll let you go right now. Thank you very much, Prince Dapo Araromi, all the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, you've had him there. It's been an amazing 20-25 minutes with him looking at you know, the issue of, you know, knife and gun crime. You know, it's something that we, you know, it saddens you, you know, each time the news comes up and somebody has been stabbed. And sometimes even if this individual doesn't die, you've got to look at the, you know, the trauma that the whole family, the friends, you know, somebody will always know somebody. And it's not just that individual that has been stabbed. You know, if somebody gets stabbed in a family, then almost, you know, all their friends, their network, everybody is also affected. And we just can only hope that, you know, some of these events, like the one coming up on Friday, you know, which is a very serious one, we will find a lasting solution to it, and make sure that, you know, we don't see, you know, this kind of event coming up. Let us take this call coming through right now. Hello, good evening.
Fine. Good evening. I just want to contribute to the program live.
Okay, you need to reduce the volume of what you're listening to behind you, because that is also coming through, and we can take your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. We can hear you loud and clear. Your name and where you're calling from.
This is Dr. Karim Akonde from Birmingham.
Oh, Dr. Karim, and that is, you know, a lot of you will have listened to Dr. Karim last week. He was with us, you know, looking at, you know, the aftermath of the general election all the way from Birmingham. Thank you once again. Let us hear your view, you know, what you would like to say.
I mean, it's a wake-up call, like your last guest said, for government and the community entirely to come together, find a lasting solution to the current decimal of stabbing. It's appalling that in London, where there are all those things that we clamor for in Nigeria, those things exist in London. Despite that, we still have those social rights, you know, stabbing and all social and crimes going on there that leads to number of deaths that makes London very notorious as a city. However, I mean, this is a very good platform for parents and community leaders, the police, to come together to continue to debate and dialogue on the way out, so that a lasting solution could be reached and there could be community cohesion in forestalling and reducing or entirely eliminating this ugly trend. I mean, it's saddening my heart when I hear about this trend going on every time, despite the fact that there is social, economic, and development there.
Yeah.
And the police have the tools, they have the wherewithal, they have the facility, they have the equipment, they have the motivation, and this crime still pervades London. I mean,
it is something that is alarming. I mean, you know, I'm just getting an update coming from Nigeria as I speak to you right now, and I'd like just to comment on that. Broken bottles in the air, one killed in a supremacy battle between two Lagos cop groups. An official of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASMA, who asked not to be named, told, you know, and this is coming from Sarah Reporter, that a fight initially started on Ikorodu Road with the two warning fractions throwing bottles at each other. There is a Fadei at the moment is boiling. Please seek other route. So if you look at, you know, that kind of situation in Nigeria right now, it's just some individual that have decided to fight each other. And, you know, it's not like what we are discussing right now in London. that have become, and like you said, they have everything here, and you wonder why the youth are going to that, kind of pathway. What would you like to say to that?
I mean, the reason for the Nigerian imbroglio is not far-fetched. The reason owing from the fact that there is restlessness of the youth, there is joblessness of the youth, and there is lack of encouragement and opportunities for the youth to engage themselves, to engage their time. It is not an excuse for the vices that have continued to permeate our system in Nigeria. However, political development also has encouraged and strengthened this over the time, because we are aware that politicians strengthen these guys with deadly weapons during election time. And this cannot be divorced from the happening that we have seen, because the election has just taken place less than 2 months ago. So this could be the fallout of the election. And you know that the faction of these thugs in Nigeria, the faction that kills more, is the one that the government reckons with and funds more and support. Especially in Mushi, because I actually spent, because we were born in Mushi, you see, and I still went there to see friends and family and all of that. When I met one of my friends, he said one of the reasons why this crime continues in Mushi, is the fact that when these guys are apprehended, when there is a riot, a problem, just like we have currently seen the breaking news, when the police come around to arrest them, if someone has shot another person right in the glare of the public, when he's arrested, a couple of weeks later, a couple of months later, it's released back to the community. So people have lost faith in the police, people have lost faith in the politicians, people have lost faith in the system entirely. That is what has caused the recurrency of this particular ugly trend in Nigeria. However, connecting or trying to dissect the difference between this trend in Nigeria and in the UK, there's a big difference and there's similarity. The similitude is that this act is perpetrated by youth, young ones within the age of 20, to 35. So we can say that's the similarity. But the difference is that the youth in London, they have opportunities around them, there are infrastructure, there are opportunities. You cannot say that because you don't have opportunities, that's why. But in Nigeria, it is lack of opportunity that push these guys to them. It is politicians trying to perpetrate themselves in power, trying to continuously hold on to their seat. That's what they call in the political parlance. We call it seat-tight politicians. They want to do everything within their means to retain their seat. Therefore, they employ these youths, and because of lack of opportunities in Nigeria, joblessness, these youths are ready to do anything just to sustain themselves. So that's why we are continuing to educate the populace that we have to come out and protest, that government should create an enabling environment for you to thrive. There are opportunities on the streets of Lagos, but there are no enabling environment. There is no electricity. There is no security for people to conduct themselves. If you want to establish a small farm business, you will need generator because there is no electricity to farm, to do your poultry, to rear your fish, and all of that. So these are the immediate causes of this crime. Though we are not justifying this as the reason to cause crime or to belong to one faction or thug. However, these are the causes. And the only way to eradicate this in Nigeria is for the politicians to reform the sector, to reform how much they earn. If an individual, as I've always said, earns 14.5 million monthly, and the next man at the next door does not earn anything, does not even have a job, in such a system, there would never be social justice. Anybody will be ready to do anything to survive. Therefore, these are the reasons for the Nigerian scenario, and this can be curbed simply by engaging the youth in productive activity. There are talent out there. Some of us have come to the UK and survived and succeeded. It is not that we have extra talent or we are extra skillful. It is just because there are opportunities here. You will try here as an Nigerian when you come, because we are known to be dedicated, to be hardworking, to be industrial, to be intelligent, and to be endearing. We endure in a very severe atmosphere, in a condition. So these two ugly trends, we expect that government will do its best on it, and the needful will be done. The security, the community leaders, and the policy makers will quickly see to this, and we'll find a lasting solution to this ugly trend, both in London and in Lagos.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Karim. I'm sure you will be joining us very soon again. I appreciate your contribution on the show this evening, and thank you very much, for that contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Jay.
Well, you can also call the studio line. Is 0208-133-2257, and let us talk about some of the issues. Gun and knife crime. You wonder, when people hear gun, are you thinking in London? Yes, there are quite a lot of guns moving around, right here in London, and we can only hope that the authority will do everything possible, to make sure that those that are having this dangerous weapon doesn't have enough time to make use of them. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your African and Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, where we give you quite a lot of event that is coming up. In just about 2 minutes or so, we would be joined by my second guest right here from London, and we'll be looking at event coming up again this weekend. Election has been concluded, but what can we do to make sure that now that the election has finally been concluded, some of the problems that we witness, and some of the things that sometimes people wonder, why are these things happening, especially in Nigeria and also back here. If you've just joined us, you can also contribute by calling us on 0208-133-2257. Quite a lot is coming up as well, but let us listen to right in July, the Comforter is coming up. Also, High Impact Leadership on the 4th of May is coming up here in London. For more details, +4 4789 851 693, and also numbers of event is coming around here in UK. Biker Converge in Abeokuta will be coming up on the 26th to the 28th of July 2019. Sisi Adire Heritage Festival is coming up in Lagos on the 9th to the 22nd of September at Novera Shopping Mall in Lekki Expressway. Walk and Play, we were in Ondo State in November last year. There will be the second edition of that as well. And Comforter is also coming up in July. And this Friday there is the big event coming up. It's City Hall, where we hope a lot of you will be attending, as it's very, very important when we are called that we do attend some of these events, because it means a lot to not just the organizer, but it also means a lot to you as well. And now let us pick up the call that is coming through again on Starr Radio UK. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Very good. Good evening and welcome to Niger Voices, where we bring out the best of Nigerian, not just in the United Kingdom, but around the world. And this evening, we're glad to also have our guests that have joined us right now. Like we say, we promise and we deliver all the time, And I'd like firstly to say thank you very much to her, because sometimes you put a call through as a journalist trying to, get people to come in and tell us what they think of, whatever is coming up. But she was more than pleased enough, to give us our time. She will be telling us quite a lot. But let's introduce Esther Oyewole. Thank you very much for joining us on Niger Voices this evening.
Thank you very, very much for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, let's first, get you to, tell us a little bit about yourself before we go into the details of State of Nigeria Conference. Wow. We will find out, for those of you that are watching us, you might want to, get your seat, properly, because when it comes to Nigeria, it means a lot to a lot of people, and diaspora played a lot during that election that took place. And we're not just playing during the election. Remember, we are remitting quite a lot of heavy money back home. But let's get a little bit to know who is Esther Oyewole.
Yeah, so in terms of who I am, so I'm a student studying at the LSE, London School of Economics and Political Science. I took on the role last year of being the president of the LSE Nigerian Society, and basically we are a group of individuals at the university that want to discuss Nigeria from an academic point of view. We look at various areas ranging from politics, law, economics, and really see how can we make Nigeria a better place, both for Nigerians based in Nigeria and Nigerians in the diaspora, and really look at how we can use our benefit of being here to really help and grow the nation.
Wow, that is amazing. And for those of you that have joined us, yes, that is Esther Oyewole, the president of the London School of Economics Nigerian Society. Tell us a little bit more about this society. I'm sure we'd like to...
we host various events. We did an Independence Day party. We did our meet and greet, which is where people joining the university came together. We learned about different states. We enjoyed food. We enjoyed music. We enjoyed learning about different ethnic groups. And it's really, really been great to learn about those things. So, for example, I personally, I'm Yoruba, but I got the opportunity to learn more about people that are Igbo, people that are Hausa, and it's just really, really great because, there is a lot of division in Nigeria, but with our society, we promote dialogue, we promote communication, and, there's not this type of Nigerian or that type of Nigerian, we're all one, and we really, really promote that. So we work on different things, but we are largely an academic-based society, and we feel like academia, especially in terms of Africa, there aren't a lot of Africans themselves studying that. It tends to be, people from other backgrounds. So it's really, really important for us to actually find an interest in telling our own history and telling our own stories to really get the point heard and have that kind of unbiased point of view. And that's what we really want to do as a society, have those discussions from different perspectives, have people from different backgrounds be interested in it, but be able to tell our story our own way.
And this society, for how long has this society been existent before you become the president at the moment?
Sure. So the society was kind of birthed in 2015, but the first full year of it running actively was actually last year.
Okay.
And that was the first time that the State of Nigeria conference actually was held. It was a great event, and I took on the role this year trying to make it better. So we learned a lot from last year's society, who did a fantastic job. But this year we tried to, get speakers in different fields. We have the benefit of the election happening this year, so we were able to, base the conference around that topic, but also look at other things. The economy is something that's been a big issue to Nigerians over the last few years. Back in 2015, for example, there was a lot of talk about Nigeria being the next, one of the mint countries, so one of the next economic powerhouses of the world. And then there was a kind of slump that happened subsequent to that. So it's really interesting to discuss those things, which is what we are really trying to do with this event. I feel like with Nigerians, there's a lot of positive things, and then a lot of people have very negative opinions as well. So what we're trying to do is to look at a more optimistic approach and look at it from a perspective of what can we do to make the country better, rather than a position of negative.
Wow. As a student of political science, we will go into the details more of the event, and I've got I'm right on your Facebook page. Just for the benefit of those that are watching us right now, or those that are listening to us, you can check their Facebook page, and maybe I'll let you tell those that are listening before I take the next question to you.
Sure. So if you type in LSE Nigerian Society, you'll be able to find us on Facebook. On Twitter, we're LSE SU Nigerian. So you'll be able to connect on us on those social media platforms. We're very, very active on Twitter, on Facebook. We respond to messages. So if you have any questions about the society itself or about the conference, which is coming up on Saturday, please do get in touch. And we are very responsive, so we'd love to hear from you.
And I can admit to that, they were quite responsive. I sent the message, and within, a space of no time, somebody, got in touch with me, and here we go. The president of the London School of Economics Nigerian Society. Is this society just for the student of that particular, because we know London School of Economics, or is it just any other university can also be, a member of that particular society?
So with the events that we've had this year, we have opened it up to students and non-students alike. In terms of the basis of the society is that the university allow us to have the resources and the platform. So that's kind of where and all of the executive committee are from the university. And there are different universities have their own societies as well. But in terms of our events, they are open to the general public. We really, really want to engage debate. And I think, there's a lot of conversations happening with slightly older generations, and their take on things are very, very different to what our take is. So it's really, really good to have those events. At our event coming up, we have Q&As, we have open discussions, and it's going to be really, really interesting to balance that and learn about it. But also with LSE, we aren't all young, so there are a lot of mature students who are Nigerian as well. So we have people of all ages, of all backgrounds. But anyone can attend the event, but in terms of joining the society, it tends to be mostly internal. Okay.
Thank you very much for that, clarification there. Let's take you as a political student, and I'm sure that will be also been looked into later on Saturday, the State of the Nigerian Conference. The election that have just been concluded, what will you say to it?
So, with my society point of view, I think, I think the election that was prior to this was kind of praised a lot about being a new form of democracy, very democratic, peaceful, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan handed over his position quite gracefully, and there was a lot of talk about, Nigeria being, a model nation in Africa. With this election, there's been a lot of talk about violence, about, electoral fraud. So, from that perspective, that's quite a disappointing thing to hear, because, you hear a lot of things about people praising the nation for the last election, and then you get to this one and people are saying that, the results aren't as they should be. So in that sense, I think that's quite sad to hear. You want to hear that I think democracy is very, very, very important, and that's one of the things that we're actually going to be discussing on the day. So I hope as many people listening can attend, but we'll be discussing the future of democracy in Nigeria, whether, there's a bright future, whether it's been dimmed by this election, and, what the future looks like, and also methods of ensuring democracy. So I think that's one thing. But what I really loved about this election was that there was more of a youth movement. Younger people were being heard. Especially in Africa, a lot of politicians tend to be older, and their needs are very, very different to what young people need in terms of, job security and opportunities. So I really liked the fact that the interest in youth and what the youth need came out in this election. And that was personally the highlight for me. There was a lot of negative talk around the election, but if I was to say the best thing that came from it, I think it would be the kind of drive to push youth to be interested in politics, which is something that they weren't really given credit for prior to the election.
Wow. If you just join us and you can hear, that voice over the phone, that is Esther Oyewole, a political student, a student of political science at London School of Economics here in London. And the reason is she's also the president of the London School of Economics Nigerian Society. They've been in existence since 2015. She took over and she's trying to do what a lot of Nigerians are doing at home, and outside the country. Let's now go into the State of Nigerian Conference that is coming up on Saturday, the 13th of April. And I've got here a numbers of, key speaker that will be attending that event. And one of them, I know very well. We've had him here in the studio, like I said to you, Fela Durotoye. I saw also on his Instagram page, putting out this same information. A politician and founder of Gemstone Foundation. Also, Adeshola Adedoton, the CEO of First Bank Nigeria, will also be in attendance, and also Temitope Ogunsemo, the founder of Crystal Digital. You could get a ticket. It's not a lot, but I'm sure Esther will go into the details of that. Let's now go into State of Nigeria Conference. Just give us, a kind of background of this coming event on Saturday.
Sure. So it's a full-day event, action-packed, loads of opportunity for discussion. So registration starts at 9:30 in the morning, and that is early. So the actual conference starts at 10:45. But in terms of the registration, there will be a breakfast served from 9:30. But we really want to encourage people to network. I think, there are certain communities of people that network really, really well and are able to help each other grow. And that's something that we really, really want to promote. So we have that opportunity. But we have a huge range of speakers. So as you mentioned, we have Mr. Durotoye joining us. We also have Dr. Adedoton joining us as well. But also some other speakers that we have. We have a lady from Forward, which is a charity that fights female genital mutilation. Amazing charity. She also sits on the board of ActionAid Greece. So she's very, very active in her charity work. And she worked on the Forward UK Nigeria program, which fought against FGM in Nigeria. And she'll be talking about that, which I'm really, really, really excited to hear about. And we also have another speaker, Mr. Prince Jewel, and he actually is an amazing individual. He is a managing partner of his own law firm, sits on the board of many businesses, is an author of a real estate book. So we have amazing speakers crossing all fields, from politics to economics to, more charity work, law. We have that going on. And each speaker actually has a Q&A, so we'll then open the floor to all of our guests, and they will be able to speak about how they feel, their response to what the speaker is saying, ask any questions, whether that's particularly to their speech or about their journey. So it'll be really, really great to learn from these, people that have done amazing in their careers, and just learn from them, network with them. There'll be both the networking breakfast and a networking lunch, so you'll be able to speak with the speakers then. And then we'll also have several panels. So we'll have, a more academic panel, followed by the next generation of Nigerian panels, which will be really, really exciting to hear. For the next generation panel, we have, amazing entrepreneurial individuals that are working on different things, from, fashion and legal businesses to setting up summer camps for students in Nigeria. So it's amazing people on that panel. The academic panel, we have some great speakers as well. So there's a lot that will be going on from that day.
What is
on the day?
Sorry to cut you now. Thank you very much. I can see a very and she's listening to you. I'm sure and I'm sure they'll be so excited to know that we still have these generation of we started with the knife crime youth. Well, going forward now, we're speaking to Esther Oyewole, the president of the London School of Economics Nigerian Society. Good evening, Ronke Ali Udofia, the Vice President of Central Association of Nigeria, Abiola Olayinka Olaniyan, thank you for joining, Kingsley and Princess Adetola, all listening and watching us live on Facebook. Esther, what are you trying to get out of this event? What is the main thing that after the event you can review back and then send a circular to those that have attended? But what is one thing? State of Nigeria, as we know, a lot of people are not happy at home. I mean, I've just come back from Nigeria. There's a lot, and people tend to say a lot of conference, have been done, have been held in the last, only Lord knows. What is something that we can take away as a take-home package that in next year when I have this conversation with you, I can say, Esther, do you know that event that you had on April the 13th? The impact is already happening somewhere in any of the 774 local government in Nigeria.
Yeah. So I think for us, the main thing that we aim to do is strategize. So we debate a lot of topics, but the end of each of our kind of panels and what we ask our speakers to conclude with is, so what next? What are the next steps? What are the next areas of growth? How can we can talk about problems until, the end of time, but nothing will change unless we sit down and strategize on the solution and what are we going to do to fix these. So I think what we're hoping is to promote that dialogue to, inspire individuals, young individuals, and also more mature individuals, with ideas to really promote the change that Nigerians want to see. Because I'm one of the people that strongly believe that complaining doesn't do much, but it's all about action. It's about next steps. So I think that's what we aim to do. So we want to look at the State of Nigeria conference, but not just dwell on that. We want to look at where we want Nigeria to go and how we're going to get it to that place.
Wow. Where we want Nigeria to go. That is a very key point as well. I know, time is not really, permitting us, but tell us more, from the Saturday event, and, you've told us a lot of, the key speaker and what we should be expecting. Any other surprises? Because we know when events like this comes up, we do get some kind of surprises that maybe you might just want to tell us here on the studio.
Any surprises? I'm not too sure, but we do have, in terms of surprises, we may have a surprise further speaker, but that is to be confirmed.
Okay.
But in terms of the actual event itself, the panels haven't been released, but we have some amazing people that have been, recommended on very, very high level. So I think it will be great to attend. And, amazing network opportunities, which are not to be missed.
Okay. We know London School of Economics is a very, high-end, school right here, not just in London, in the United Kingdom. And you've been the president now, until, the baton is taken from you. How are you engaging with, like, other university, like in Nigeria? I don't know whether, you're kind of working. I know you might be doing similar with the ones in UK, but I'm much, specific about, working relationship by the, university student here, society groups like yours, but engaging with the Nigerians on the other side as well.
So we haven't done anything directly with another university, which, there's the possibility of doing that. But what we have done is we've tried to open our doors. I've met people that have actually reached out to me and have asked about, how to get into the university, different career paths. I've done a few internships at investment banks. I've had a lot of people from Nigeria reach out about how they can get into those particular areas. So I think that's really, really good because, living here, I have the benefit and I have the accessibility that some others in Nigeria may not feel like they have. So it's really great to have people reach out to me. But talking about it from that idea, I think that's something to really, really look into, and partnershiping with other Nigerian universities and, making that dialogue more international.
There's something that you said that, I was quite, proud of. And that is something that I have sticked on for, as much as when I was in Nigeria, I used the word hope. But a number of people said to me, you have to make sure you hold on to that because we are losing hope already. But we on the other side here are still having that hope. You mentioned Mint country. And for those that doesn't know, Mint is Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey. I've been to Istanbul quite a lot of time. And I've seen, how things have turned around over there. But we're hoping that things will turn around as well The president have just arrived back after an economic, kind of summit, in Dubai and other, Arab country that he was traveling to. But what I want to find out from you before we let you go is that hope that we, the diaspora, are holding on to. What kind of, message can we continue to tell Nigerians on the other side?
I think we have the optimism because in the UK, we see a lot. There are a lot of things going on. You spoke about knife crime and things. But in spite of that, we are still able to grow. And I think with Nigeria, there's a lot of this mentality that we'll never get there. For example, on the event, one comment that we had from someone is, don't waste your time, Nigeria has no hope. And for me, it's really, really sad to feel like that people feel that way. So I think the best
Can we blame them?
Sorry?
Can we blame them when people feel that way?
I think it's easiest for us in the diaspora to be more positive because we don't deal with the encounters every day. So I hear it from that perspective. But I think from an academic perspective, there are a lot of countries that, were in a very, very similar state to Nigeria that improved drastically. And there are historical and political issues why Nigeria aren't doing what it should do. But these other countries, had the same thing. If you look at China, for example, their growth has been exponential. Even places like India.
I was in an event, one of the biggest events, China Trade, and some of what I heard at the Q2 Elizabeth was mind blowing. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's just amazing, and I think it's the fact that Nigeria just needs to. See what these countries have done, and that there is no such thing as hope. India, for example, was the country that the most people lived on less than $1 a day, in extreme poverty. Now it's Nigeria. India are moving up the ranks and are doing a lot better. Why? And that's because of the trading. It's because of the investment into intellect. Nigerians are a very, very intellectual group of people, They're the most statistic came out, they're the most educated group in the United States. Why can't we develop that talent within Nigeria? There are a lot of countries that send their that fund intelligent people in education and bring them back into leadership, Singapore being one. Nigeria needs to focus on that and really, really develop itself because it has the resources, it has the manpower, it has, a lot of things to benefit it, its location, a lot of things in its advantage. So it's really, really harnessing education.
Wow. Education, very, very important. Just in the next 5 minutes, before I let you off the hook, because I know you definitely have quite a lot on your table and preparing for that event. Yeah. How can people, get the ticket, for that event, and who can they reach out to should they want to engage more, find out more about the event coming up?
Definitely. So in terms of the event, so if you go onto Eventbrite and you just type in STON, STON 19, you'll be able to find the tickets on Eventbrite. If anything else, you can contact us via email, which is nigerian@lsesu.org. So if there's anything else, you can connect with us by there or via our various social media channels.
Your favorite food, Nigerian food?
My favorite Nigerian food?
Don't say jollof rice.
No, it's not.
Amala.
I would have to say probably pounded jam and efo.
That is a good one. I saw Anthony Joshua making eba, but I don't know, was that eba on the fire? I don't understand. I'm still trying to figure that out. Anyway, before we let you go, your final, message to those that are listening to us right now across all our, social media handles, and those that are listening to us on TuneIn. We're also on Twitter and on YouTube. That is the beauty of the technology. Your final message and to those that are listening to us, and we hope we connect with you on Saturday if time permits.
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening, and please do connect with us. Please do come along. It'll be an amazing event. You'll get to network with amazing individuals of all backgrounds. So please do not hesitate to email us or connect with us, and please get tickets, and we hope to see you there.
What music would you like us to play for you, as we always make sure we entertain our guests, even though you're not in the studio with us, but we can still slot in something for you to listen to while you're coming off the the interview right now. What music would you like?
I'm a big Burna Boy fan.
What? I didn't get that.
Burna Boy.
Burna Boy. Oh, I saw him, in Nigeria at the. Thank you very much to Chief Dele Momodu, the Ovation Caro. Wow, I've never seen him play, on this, before live. But what I saw, on during the event at the Ovation Caro, in December. I was blown away. His performance was more like Fela and Nicola Kokuti, and let's take you through I'm listening.
I very much get that Fela vibe from him.
So you probably have a bit of Fela blood in your system as well.
I hope to think so.
You hope to think so. Okay, let's play Burna Boy for Esther Oyewole. Thank you very much for joining us all the way on Naija Voices as we bring it to you, and we hope we connect more with you. And do let us know in future. This is a platform for Nigerians, both at home and outside. And our job here is to make sure that we let your voices heard wherever you are. Thank you very much, Esther, and have a good evening. And enjoy Burna Boy. You're welcome. Bye for now. And that was Esther Oyewole, the president of Nigerian Society, London School of Economics. They are having one of their biggest events this Saturday, the 13th of April, State of Nigeria. Wow. And that's it. Good evening, all the way Godson Hazu, watching you live on Ben TV this morning. And Ashake Olanriwaju, hope the twins are doing very well. Let us enjoy Burna Boy a little bit. And all the way from Benue State is Victoria Tabo. We hope we will be in Benue one of these days, the food basket of Nigeria, and you wonder why we are still in poverty. Plenty survive we face just to make sure money day. Everybody's looking for money, but what we are not looking for is a solution to so many problems in Nigeria. And one of the solutions is what is going to be happening on the April the 13th, right here in London. London School of Economics, Nigerian Society, bringing you the best. Well, one thing is that we've got to remember is we can sit down and do nothing about the problems in this world, or we can take action. Schemes and packaging in a one night for shows. I'm juggling flow like the ocean, my boy. And that is Burna Boy all the way on Starr Radio UK, your African Afro-Caribbean radio station. And again, it is OLAYOMI. And this is special for Esther Oyewole. She says she loves Burna Boy. I said, there must be a blood of Fela in your system. And she agreed with me. I want build house. I still want to know. Everybody wants to drive G-Wagon, but nobody wants to find the solution. That bit of solution that will enable you to drive G-Wagon. What's it gonna be? Is it not amazing that people drive big cars in Nigeria, but the roads, wow. I know. And once again, this is how we do it every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Naija Voices on Starr Radio UK. You can also contribute to what we've been discussing. 0208 133 2257. We had Prince Adedapo Araromi on Friday, the 12th of April 2019, right at the City Hall in the Mayor's office. I hope we can have this kind of conversation, at the Senator's office in Abuja, in Kaduna, in every part of Nigeria. Anyway, let me just hold on to that first before I say something else. once again, we would like to appreciate, Esther that joined us all the way as well. I could cite you there, a very, very good brother of mine, an uncle, he knows himself in a white t-shirt on his Facebook page, and also joining us is one and only Stephanie. We will be telling you more about, the event coming up. That they've got an event coming up. We'll give you more details of that. But one thing is, we can sit down and do nothing, or we can put more action to solve some of the problems happening around the world. It is
online, on mobile, soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean radio station.
Yes, that is the only station that tells you the way it is and what is happening, within the community. Some of you must have been wondering, where have I been on the morning show where we give updates, daily? Bear with us. We can only make it happen if more of you support us as well and make life easy, for myself and, the platform as well. We can't do, running, a studio like this without having income coming through as well. So, we hope you can understand that. And for us to do so much, I mean, we spent 6 weeks in Nigeria, and, the station is trying everything possible to make sure that we can go to other countries as well. But we can only do that if you also, support, let us have, your event that is coming up. Let us help you, to package and tell the world what you're doing. And I'm sure, you will be glad that you've come down, with those messages right here. And for those of you that are listening to us on Facebook, just share the page, invite your friends, like the page, and tell us, if you like to contribute to the show that we have at the moment. 0208 133 2257. And let's take a look at some of the like I said, there was a fracas going on in Fade in Lagos. We hope the security are doing everything possible, to make sure that lives are secured, as well. Residential investment property workshop is taking place right here in London, and for limited seat that is still available. Property is still a big thing in the United Kingdom, and the only one that could tell you more about that event is John Samuel. And this is, what are you, what to expect, bricks exit versus housing market, and it's still safe to buy. We don't know what is going to happen. There might be extension, but what has been your own take, with this whole bricks exit? I had a call from a friend of mine that drove me while I was in Abeokuta during the governorship election, and he called me and said, Yomi, what is this whole bricks exit? What are the advantage and disadvantage? He just wanted to find out, the advantage and disadvantage, and I try as much as possible within my knowledge to explain, what I think the advantage and disadvantage. But for those of you that wants to buy property or wants to invest in property and you are not sure, where to go, who to ask, rather there are a lot of people out there now that are ready to defraud you, so you got to be very careful. But John Samuel is having a property investment workshop that is coming up very soon, and this is happening on the where you can get your ticket right now and make sure that you are securing your seat on the 2nd of May 2019 from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. There will also be a refreshment as well. For details and booking, you can go to eventbrite.co.uk/John Samuel Estate, where you'll find out more about it. But what are you going to expect from this kind of event? How can I buy? A lot of you, I had a friend before I traveled to Nigeria, and he was saying to me, where can I put my money? I was thinking Nigeria, he has done that already. He lost, millions of naira, I think about 2 years ago, to where the property or the land was bought, and eventually, as you know, Nigerian story, there will always be one story that comes up and everything becomes, you know what I'm talking about. This is Niger Voices. So what should I buy and where should I buy it? Why should I buy instead of renting? Adding value to your property, funding up-to-date report on how to find your purchase, cash versus mortgage, making the most of your cash, understanding and knowing the schemes available for first-time buyers, legal principle of investment in a property, why you should work with the right professional. That is the key thing. You know, each time we come here, we tell you it is important to work, you know, with the right profession as well. And let's just listen to this again.
Midwife, doctor, social worker, or healthcare professional. Are you currently having capability or disciplinary issues at work? Have you recently been referred to the NMC, ACPC, GMC, any other?
Yes, and that is, you know, for those of you that have any, you know, issues when it comes to health.
Expert advice on work issues and professionalism. Do you need representation for your NMC, GMC, ACPC, intern, or substantive hearing? If your answer is yes, please contact Dr. Abiaki Oshu of ERRAS, Employment Rights Representation and Advisory Service on 0208 305 7438 or 0207 140 0111 0745 195 6510. Our team of experts are ready to assist you in all aspects of your professionalism, disciplinary proceedings.
Yes, and that is, you know, for ERRAS. For those of you that have problems.
The fundamental objective is to
coming up.
Bring the celestial and cherubim and seraphim classes together. And to tell the world that we believe solemnly in the word of God, the Bible, the sword of the Spirit, is what we do. Then we all celebrate the Comforter. God willing, the one that will be coming up 2019 will be in this great country, Nigeria, fish in our hand. And we serve him without mingling anything petty with his name. When the Lord is on a mission, the mission becomes so easy. The mission becomes so peaceful.
Yes, the mission becomes impossible, and that is a Comforter coming to you in July in Nigeria. For those of you in Nigeria, more details of Comforter will be announced here on this platform. Make sure you tune in. Once again, this is still Star Radio UK, your African Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, and we'll be telling you more of what we'll be expecting next week Wednesday. Next week Wednesday is a full pack. We have Eunice Atujide. She was also you know, one of the presidential candidates you know, for just concluded election in Nigeria. She's a lawyer, she's a mother, she's a politician. How does she cope with all that? You know, those are all questions that we will have for Eunice when she's with us in the studio next week Wednesday, so you don't want to miss that. Also, we're going to have Mr. Femi Aroto Kwale. You know, is a security consultant here in UK, and he'll be telling us you know, some of the happenings around the security operatives in Nigeria, the Boko Haram, the police, the Navy. You know, what can we do to make sure that we have well-trained you know, security operatives in Nigeria, not the ones that decide. You know, there was a particular video I saw where, you know, the officer was telling you know, the individual, I think they were stopped, I don't know which of the highway in Nigeria, and somebody was recording, but the other person that the security operative was holding on to had his phone, you know, had this individual's phone, and saying, you know, I've been working for a very long time, I don't even have, you know, this kind of phone. And you wonder, you know, what has that got to do, you know, with, you know, the individual. You know, it tells you that there's still so much when it comes to the security in Nigeria. You know, quite a lot. I saw for 6 weeks. Corruption is just, you know, you think there's corruption. Go on the highway, middle of the night, and the police ask you to give money and you don't. well, I hope you get home safely. So those are the issues that Femi Aroto-Kwale will be discussing with us with Eunice Tujide next week right here on Niger Voices. Also, in a week's time, we will be having engineer Olusegun Okpanuga, one man that when it comes to, how can we work with the youth, is also going to be telling us more of that. We had Prince Adida Kwararomi that was telling us what we should be expecting on Friday. Let's listen more to, some of the happenings, what is coming up, and also one thing is a lot is happening in Zamfara and nobody seems to be saying anything. People are quiet. Why is it that, when we have problems, Zamfara is really, really, boiling, and we can only hope that the federal government, I'm trying to find the sound clip for, where, the lady that interviewed the president, remember during the election, and I think I've got, that sound clip, and let's just listen. Zamfara citizens protesting the killing by bandits. I mean, what should the government be doing more, to curb the killings that is taking place? And for those of you that are listening, you can also, leave your comment and let's discuss, Zamfara. It's quite painful. There was also a protest in London last week, but let's just listen to, this, Kadira. She spoke during the, this protest that took place in Abuja. We will get a sound bit of what she said during that interview.
More than the killings taking place in Borno, more than the killings taking place in Adamawa and Yobe. These are states that are officially at war. Every day, we bury between 30, 40, 50
She's also a
people.
broadcaster.
When we are not burying people, we are selling everything we own to pay kidnappers 15, 20 million. Mr. President has not done well for the people of Zamfara. The people of Zamfara love Mr. President. The people of Zamfara came out in 2015 to vote for Mr. President. Despite their hardship, they came out again in numbers. They just concluded elections to vote for Mr. President. Why is Mr. President treating the people of Zamfara as if they are not citizens of Nigeria, deserving of security, deserving to live in their houses and sleep well? Why? This is why we are here today. We demand that Zamfara is made secure. We demand that Mr. President acts like the chief commander-in-chief that he is of the armed forces of Nigeria. All these soldiers here should not be guarding one man. They should be in Zamfara, fighting kidnappers and rustlers and the armed bandits that are killing our mothers, our fathers, and our sisters. That is what we demand. We don't really care if Mr. President is distributing 10,000 naira, if he's giving people trader money, if he's giving people money. If there is no life, there is no business. You need to understand, his first job is to provide security in this country. At the moment, he is not providing it. The leaders in the north have let us down. We don't have leaders. All the northern governors put together are not talking about the fact that the north has gone to the dogs. So we the people have decided to take our lives into our hands and come and protest. And we will keep protesting until something is done. Because enough is enough.
Wow. I hope you heard what Kadira Ahmed, she's a broadcaster. I was able to see her, but I didn't engage with her. When we had the the evening of memorial service for Pius, Professor Pius, that died. May so continue to rest in peace. Look at how time is moving. He has completed his own task here, and let us just pray for the wife and the two daughters, that he left behind. You heard what Ahmed, she said there, and it makes you wonder, and let me just pull a bit of data during the election, because a lot of people, she mentioned that the people of Zamfara came out heavily to vote for the president during the just concluded election that took place in Nigeria. And the question that a lot of Nigerians, will now be asking is, what has happened? Where is the governor? Where is the, defense? Where is all the security, apparatus that should be protecting, lives in Zamfara State? Where are they? Where is everyone? That bandits have now, taken over, the state. Let me give you the presidential results in Zamfara State. APC had 438,682 votes, and PDP had 125,423. Let's add that together, because we don't even know who is being killed, whether they are from APC or PDP, but they are Nigerians. And you wonder, the reason why they voted back, the government, was because they wanted, that state, like any other state in the country, to be protected, from bandits, protected from making sure that people have jobs, like Esther said there, insecurity. When I was at home, a lot of Nigerians, would tell you there's no hope in Nigeria, as much as we are trying to tell them that there is hope in Nigeria. And while the president was in Jordan, and before he traveled down, the president delivered a keynote address at the World Economic Forum in Middle East in Jordan on the 6th of April before flying to Dubai. He's back in Nigeria now. There was a press statement, and I'm trying just to see if I can pull that the president issued, after, the whole, issue of this bandit. Let me take a look at what the Femi Adesina, who is the spokesman for the president, and this was on the 4th of April. Promise made, promise kept. Governor says didn't suffer during campaign and election. In keeping with the promise by President Muhammad Buhari that governor says will not take the backseat in spite of his busy campaign schedule to all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory leading to the presidential election. They were talking about the minimum wage and looking at the finance, infrastructure, talking about the financing in the government, also the companies, and also some of the consumer protection. And I'm just trying to see if I can, special economic zones. These are all, and I'll put that on for those of you that are listening to us on Facebook, special economic zone, and also healthcare. Healthcare in Nigeria is a no-go area. You only need to pray that you don't even get ill at all, because if not, your chances are very, very slim. These are what the the president is telling us, and you wonder, ease of doing business. Karim just said a farmer or someone that is have a poultry need. I drove down to about 4 hours away from London on Monday, and right to my left and the right hand side I saw farms, and what I saw was a solar panel being put in place in most of these farms in their hundreds. And it makes you wonder, if someone that is, doing poultry in Nigeria that need constant electricity, constant, because of the nature of that job, then, how does it become ease of doing business, when they don't even have that power, to make sure that, there's a power to run, that facility. It's quite a lot, to worry about. And I just hope micro pension, these are part of what the government is telling us, infrastructure, and also economic index. Quite a lot, is a lengthy one, and I hope every one of you will find time, to read the details. And the question now is the government doing enough? You heard what Ahmed said there. She was saying that, these are people that the love that they have for the president, made them to come back out and vote again. And I've just given you the, the figure, about 400 to 120,000, different between PDP and APC in that state. So where is the governor of that state, when crisis like this is happening? And it just, makes you, think politicians, what more, do we need to say than we hope that you can pity Nigerians wherever they are, because a lot of Nigerians are really, really not pleased with what is happening at home at the moment, and that is why everyone is looking for one way or the other. It doesn't matter whether they want to go through Libya. You might tell them, that is not a safe route, but they just want to get out of that country because of the, the heat that is becoming unbearable. And I hope politicians will listen.
This not biggie man, no. This not for man, no. Hello Nigerians, no. Should be on the
Every time we are saying, what can be done? I mean, we have the money, we have, look at what Esther said there. Nigerians are the most educated, but it looks like there's a lot of poverty in the land.
As they break, things is just the hard, no food to chop. Every day they rise.
When there's no light, when there's no food, people are waking up on a daily basis and doesn't even know what next to do. And you wonder, politicians.
Please pity for us, I beg, read the bag, see my people don't they die. Please pity for us, politicians, please pity for us. Oh no 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 no.
It is Star Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, and this is Niger Voices every Wednesday from 6 to 8.
My life, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, with all my heart. Anywhere I go to
Niger.
Anything I do na
Niger.
Anywhere I go to
Niger.
See, my house is not for Niger. I invest in my Niger. Everything I plan for Niger. Politicians show some love. Oh no 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 no. Pity for us.
Well, we hope the politician will do the right thing. Not just in Zamfara, but every part of the country, because people are bleeding.
Please pity for us, politicians, please pity for us. Oh no, 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 no.
Online, on mobile, Swan DAB. This is Star Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean radio
As we sit down, they complain today, our God, dry food for our body. As we there for here, we they complain our only food for our body. Hey, search your conscience. We stuff we no good. Make we live right. We stuff we know they try. I don't say every day politicians steal our money.
They keep stealing that money. The money is stolen, and we don't even know. What? I mean, how much do you need? Do the right thing. Build the road, the hospital, the healthcare. I've just listed quite a lot of what the government says is all about, but yet how many people are enjoying it?
Just have mercy on us. We don't need you. Anything we do, please pity for us, politicians.
And we're looking at before we bring the show tonight. I would also like to say to those that are listening to us, you can send us email info@starradiouk.com. Should you have any news or information you would like to share with us, or also if you like to sponsor the program right here, you can also do as well. We'll be more than welcome to have you putting your business right here, so that we can get that business to those that are listening to us around the world. And next week, like I said, is a very full pack show. In just about 5 minutes, we continue to pray for those that are going through all kind of difficulties, whether in United Kingdom, in America, around the world. Just 2 weeks ago, in Nigeria was a Nigerian was killed, executed in Saudi Arabia. As much as yes, people commit crime. Was it right? While I was giving the report back to the studio this morning, it makes you wonder, what some of our embassies are doing. Because from the report that we have with us, that there was a kind of slow pace between the embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria, and that just put a lot of under the pressure. Quite a lot of people are going through numbers and numbers of pressure in Nigeria. You know, people are starving. You know, people can't even get to that healthcare, infrastructure, accident. Quite a lot of numbers of things that you wonder when, you know, will people have that, you know, benefit of not even thinking of traveling out of the country. Yes, it is, you know, a lot of people under pressure in Nigeria. It doesn't matter, you know, whether in the east, in the north, in the southwest, you know, there's poverty everywhere. You know, you look around and you wonder, you know, what is the solution? And part of that solution is, you know, the engagement, you know, with the London School of Economics Nigerian Society happening on Saturday, the 13th of April.
In a ghetto, in a city.
And kudos to all the Nigerians that are making us proud at home and outside, you know, whether you're running a very small scale business and out of that, you know, hardship of different difficulties, you're still trying to hold on there. Just, you know, make sure you hold on to that pressure.
Under pressure, black and white, under pressure, Europeans, under pressure.
And it is Starr Radio UK. It is happening here every Wednesday, Niger Voices.
No brother, believe in you too. No have no brother, believe in you too. No have no sister. I'm a kimono.
You can join us every Wednesday, and you can tune in, you know, by downloading the apps if you haven't done so.
Under pressure, Europeans, under pressure.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Under pressure.
And as we are bringing the show to an end, you know, we'd like to thank every one of you that tune in. Ashake Olaniwaju, Mama Beji, spot you there, and all the way from Lagos in our Limo show. And to all my loved ones, my family, it's been, you know, a very big thank you. You know, I saw one of my uncle about a week ago, Saturday. He came here for a wedding from the US, and he said to me, I was just praying for you while you were in Nigeria. We are back again in London, and we continue what we love to do best. Make sure you tune in on every platform that we are running. It is Starr Radio UK. A lot of people get worried when somebody travels to Nigeria. And happy birthday to Axoba Bambo Odunawo, all the way in US. He's sharing the same birthday with Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Who doesn't know Dangote in Africa and around the world? Have you listened to that video where Dangote, you know, was saying, I gotta withdraw $10 million just to see that I've got that money? I'll see if I can get that clip. You know, if not, we get it next week. You know, somebody withdrew, you know, $10 million and put it at the back of his boot, and I'm sure what would be like smelling that money and getting it inside the house and thinking, yes, I now believe I'm a billionaire. You know, how much have you got in your pocket? You know, that sometimes you make sure that, you know, it doesn't fall off your pocket. You know. Happy birthday to Alhaji Aliko Dangote, wherever you are, and happy birthday to everyone that is celebrating their birthday today. It is Starr Radio UK, and I will be saying thank you to every one of you. We hope, you know, you've been able to enjoy the show tonight, and next week we'll be back again with an exciting program, but continue to listen to the platform where we bring you everything round the
online, on mobile, soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean radio station.
And on that note, you know, from me, I say good night or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I will be back again same time next week when we continue the same show. This morning we'll continue to look at the aftermath of the Nigeria general election and the knife crime. Next week will be Eunice Atujide, one of the female presidential candidates, will be here in the studio with us, and we'll be looking at the role of female politicians, not just in Nigeria, but around the world. In Nigeria, they do a lot of night meeting. I don't know whether they do that in the UK as well, but she'll be telling us maybe how many night meeting she was able to engage with. Thank you very much to everyone that have been working tirelessly so that we can be on air, and everyone that have been supporting us, as well, to all my producer and Frank and Archie and all the presenters on Star Radio UK. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and we'll say thank you very much again to ERRAS for being there all the time. It is Star Radio UK, and have a good evening.
Social worker or healthcare professional, are you currently having capability or disciplinary issues at work? Have you recently been referred to the NMC, ACPC, GMC, any other regulatory bodies? Do you need confidential expert advice on work issues and professionalism? Do you need representation for your NMC, GMC, ACPC, intern, or substantive hearing? If your answer is yes, please contact Dr. Abe Akinyoshu of ERRAS, Employment Rights Representation and Advisory Service on 0208 305 7438 or 0207 140 0111 0745 195 6510. Our team of experts are ready to assist you in all aspects of your professionalism display.